It is complete. 75 hard is in the books, and I did not expect to feel like this on day 75. In this video, I'm going to go in depth. I'm going to explain my results from the program, the benefits, and what I plan to do next after this round of 75 hard. Day 75, we made it. This program has been unreal as far as my expectations go, from a mindset perspective, from a growth perspective, and even just what I do on a day-to-day basis. I can't wait to tell you guys all about the program, the good, the bad, and what I intend on doing next in hopes that maybe it helps you on your journey. What's going on, everyone? My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel where I help you carve your own path by building a high performance mindset. Since you're watching this video, I'm assuming you know what 75 hard is, but if you don't, go ahead and check out the link in the description where I explain the rules and what exactly 75 hard is. Now, coming into this program, I'll be completely honest. I was one of those people that Andy Frisella talked about that just didn't really get it. Months and months ago, when I first found the program, I looked at it and I thought, is all that really necessary?
I kind of think of it like you either get it or you don't. You know what I'm saying?
That being said, I didn't really know much about Andy Frisella, and I decided about a week or two into the program that I'd learn about the man who created this whole program to begin with. I wanted to learn more about the man behind the program and his thought process. Simply put, the man has a no BS mentality, and I dig it. I love the approach of this program. It's either you do or you don't. There is no trying. So if you say you want to do something, then do it. Now in this video, I'm going to walk through my 75 hard journey by discussing the changes I experienced in my body composition, how my entire mindset and perception on life changed, some of the tools that helped me through the program, what to look out for when you start the program, and some thoughts on what's next after 75 hard. So without further ado, let's talk about my 75 hard journey and how it may help you. First, let's talk about the body comp changes and really more of the physical aspects before we start getting into the mental side of this. Now, if you watched my previous videos about 75 hard, you'd know that I followed a macronutrient specific diet. I started around 3,000 calories with 338 carbohydrates, 188 grams of protein, and 100 grams of fat. This was more than I was eating prior to the program, but after doing some research, this is about what my maintenance level looked like. Now, I came up with these numbers based on my activity level and my current weight at the time, which was about 188 pounds. I'm really active throughout the day anyway, so adding the 2 workouts a day that 75 hard requires, I knew that I needed to get some adequate calories. Now, weighing in at 188 pounds, it wasn't the heaviest I'd ever been by any stretch, but it was a little heavier than I wanted to be, and I just wanted to lean out. So my initial goal on the program was to drop down, cut some weight, and get to a more comfortable weight that I felt good in my workouts. I didn't really have any expectations of how light I wanted to get. I just didn't really want to drop below 170. Now, just after 2 weeks on the program, I dropped from 188 to 182, and I was starting to wake up in the middle of the night craving carbohydrates. I mean, I would wake up craving sugar. After doing about a week of that, I adjusted my macros a little bit to where that I would have a little more carbs throughout the day and reduce my protein just a touch. So the net calories never changed. I just changed the ratio of the protein to carbs. That move gave me more energy throughout my workouts, but more importantly, it allowed me to sleep through the night without waking up and craving carbs. Now, January 1st rolls around and I'm about a month in and I have dropped down to 175. I've basically lost about 13 pounds in 28 days and I wanted to up the intensity on my nutrition. So after doing a little research, I decided to join the RP Strength app where I focused on meal timing. Keep in mind the amount of calories that I've been consuming has stayed the same. Now weighing in at 175, I wanted to stay around this weight, so on the RP Strength app, I chose to keep my calories at a maintenance level. The main reason for this is I didn't want to compromise losing muscle mass in an effort to just cut more fat. Now I followed RP Strength from January 1st all the way to February 19th, my final day on 75 hard, and I got down to 173. I simply stuck with the RP Strength app and what they required on maintenance, which was essentially the same exact macros that I had been following the entire program. As I weighed in at 173, the app increased my carbs, dropped down my protein and my fat, keeping me at the same level calorically. Now, weight loss results here, I went from 188 to 173, which is a total of 15 pounds. And keep in mind, for about half the program, I just stayed at maintenance level. Another thing to keep in mind, and this is extremely important for those that want to change their body composition, I actually ate quite a bit more than what I'd been eating before I even started this program. I was eating roughly about 2,000 calories, not tracking anything, and when I started the program, I mentioned that I had just started at 3,000 calories. I'm not saying this is going to be the case for everyone, but instead I'm encouraging you to take a look at your macronutrient consumption. What does your macronutrient profile look like? By dialing in how many carbohydrates, fats, and protein you're eating, you can really take your results to the next level if you allocate these macronutrients in the proper way. This is in comparison to just eating X amount of calories. I say this because on 75 Hard, the rule is to just follow a diet. Now, a lot of people aren't too sure of what a diet looks like. Does that mean I just eat lettuce and baked chicken the entire time? No, there are important keys to think about when you're following a diet. So that said, I'm a big believer in following a macronutrient specific eating plan and would say that this is a great option if you're looking to change your body composition on 75 Hard. Now, before we move on from nutrition, I just want to say this very important thing. If you have a nutrition coach or a personal trainer and they're just telling you to eat less food and you'll lose weight, do not listen to that. It's not always the case, nor is it that simple. If that were the case, I would have weighed way less whenever I started this program, and when I upped my calories to 3,000 from 2,000, theoretically I should have gained a lot of weight. So there are a lot of factors that go into losing weight, changing your body composition, and I would encourage you to do your own research and find someone highly qualified to help you out with your nutrition and fitness goals. Now, some basic tools that helped me out throughout the program regarding nutrition was MyFitnessPal and, of course, the RP Strength app. I've been using MyFitnessPal for years before, so I was very familiar with this app, and it was a very easy transition. The RP Strength app, on the other hand, was a different platform, and when I implemented the approach of meal timing, it frustrated me to no end. But this is 75 Hard, and you either do or you don't. You don't try. So we do. Looking back, switching to RP Strength was the best thing that I could have done. The app is based on an algorithm, and depending on your goals, whether you want to lose weight, keep your weight at the same level, or gain weight, it will give you the appropriate macronutrients to follow. Super helpful and kept the guesswork out. Now, there is also another app that First Form recommends, and it is their own app. I didn't end up using this one just because I'd used MyFitnessPal before, and when I switched to RP Strength, I'd known other people that used RP and they had great results from it. Now let's talk about mindset. Before anything else, realize this program will change you. Physically, mentally, whatever. It will change you. Now, of course, the program challenges you physically. You have to work out twice a day. Rain, snow, it doesn't matter. But the overall focus of this program is that it's a complete personal development program. Physically, mentally, whatever you can think of that you want to level up, that is what 75 Hard is designed to do. All that said, and this is coming from someone who thought they were really disciplined as is, doing 75 Hard will take you to a completely different level. It took me to a level that I was afraid of stopping the program. I had built up so much momentum that I was afraid that if I veer off this at the end of 75 Hard, I'm afraid to lose all this momentum. Now, if you watch any of my other videos, you've probably heard me talk about how hard it is to build momentum, but how important it is if you want to make any change in your life. The concept of building momentum is so crucial for your long-term success, and it takes a lot of work to keep it going. But at the end of the day, momentum starts within you. It starts with how you think about yourself, what you say to yourself, and most importantly, the actions that you take that represent the person that you want to become. With 75 Hard, you are forced to do the small things right. There's no way out. Drink the full gallon of water every single day. Do 2 workouts every single day. Rain or snow, it doesn't matter. Read the 10 pages of your nonfiction book. These are the things that truly build momentum. Now, I went from dreading this outdoor workout. Keep in mind, I started in the middle of winter, and now I actually crave it. The thought of not doing it feels weird. Last week at 75 Hard, 7 degrees. Knowing that it was going to be cold outside, sometimes raining and sometimes snowing, but it didn't even faze me. Ironically, I actually wanted more of it. So I got what I asked for, and in the last week of the program, it dropped below 0. And I don't care who you are, that is cold. Overall, you stop thinking about the things that are in your way, and you start to focus on the process at hand. You don't allow yourself to complain, make excuses, or look for a way out. You make a way through this program, or you fail. It's that simple. Now that we've touched on mindset a little bit, I want to explain some of the other benefits that I got from this program. One thing that I really noticed was increased awareness. Now, I just mentioned building momentum, but the thing about building momentum is that your environment is so crucial in this process. The things you do, your work atmosphere, the people you're around, all of these make up your environment. And the biggest thing about this that I noticed is that other people's mentality is contagious. It can do 2 things. If it's positive, it can bring you up and help you build more momentum. If it's negative, it can easily bring you down and derail you, unless you do something to stop it. I'm sure you've heard this all the time, and a lot of the most successful people in the world have the smallest circles. And there's really one main reason for that. If the person they have a relationship with that's in their circle is not on the same page, the relationship is going to have a very hard time flourishing. I mean, take a second and really think on this. Do the fittest people on earth have friends that go out 5 nights a week and eat horrible? Do the most successful business people hang out with people that complain about their job, their boss, or where they are in life? Do winners associate with losers? No, none of the above. The answer is no, because their mindset is contagious. If you place yourself around people that aspire to be the greatest version of themselves, you are going to subconsciously soak in those habits and start to pursue similar things for yourself. You start to see the growth they're experiencing, the benefits they're receiving, and it absolutely motivates you. Now, a famous quote I heard, and I forget who said it, but I feel like it's very fitting for this situation. It goes a little something like, I spend so much time reading about the people I look up to and their ideas, because that's who I want my circle to be. I want to be like those I read about. I couldn't find anyone around me bringing out the best in me, so I found those that inspired me through books. Now, it sounds kind of weird and maybe a little lonely, but in a way, that's the point. How many people do you know that don't have the best environment or even the best circumstances, but instead of complaining and giving up, they find people through books. They find inspiration. Not too many people. Another big thing that I notice aside from mindset is that you develop a new perception of yourself. Eventually, you begin to acclimate into this new version of you, and you realize this is who I am now. You no longer tolerate BS. You raise your expectation of yourself to this entirely new standard. And you learn to identify if the quality of work that you're putting in every single day is good enough for you to get to the next level. You know if you're slacking off, and you know if you're putting in real work. Now, real quick, if you're getting any value out of this video, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Now, the most common phrase that comes up when you tell people that you're doing 75 hard, discipline. Let's talk about discipline. It's funny because people ask me when I started this program, how do you stay so disciplined to follow this program? The thing is, discipline is not this thing that you try to do. It's really fueled by a bigger picture, a longer term manifestation that you create. Delaying gratification is discipline. You do it to become better tomorrow. It comes as a byproduct of consistently putting yourself through discomfort. Similarly, people ask, how are you so motivated? Well, the thing about motivation is that it's temporary and it can easily fizzle out. So you have to find underlying reasons to become who you want to become. The thing is, discipline is easy when you see the bigger picture that you're working for. And then motivation comes at the thought of succeeding throughout this entire process. Now, before we move on from the mindset aspect of 75 hard, I want to say one more thing. When it comes to the mindset of 75 hard, the biggest catalyst to keep going is your long-term legacy. You start to have some deep conversations with yourself when things get tough. Some things that you might ask yourself are, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want your story to look like? But in a deeper sense, think of you long-term. How do you age? What do you look like? And how well did you take care of yourself? You start thinking of longevity and succeeding in the long term. Now, I've always been into setting goals and trying to set myself up long term, but this is something that I've never experienced to this magnitude, and it kept me hungry for more each and every day. All right, let's talk about fitness improvements or setbacks throughout this program. Now, it may seem simple that losing weight will automatically increase your fitness level, and for many that is true. But for some, especially a lot of strength athletes, that's not always the case. It can actually be detrimental. Now, before I talk about what it did for my fitness level, keep in mind that I'm talking about overall fitness. This encompasses both strength and endurance. The biggest improvement that I noticed regarding my fitness level in 75 hard was that my energy levels stayed consistent. With a steady amount of energy to burn, I was able to see conditioning improvements as well as improvements in my strength. Now, after losing about 15 pounds, I did see my 1 rep max numbers go down, but my strength endurance didn't go down. Now, what I'm saying here is maybe I didn't hit my 1 rep max lift, but on something like 5 sets of 10, I actually saw improvements in my strength. Keep in mind this has to do with a lot of other factors aside from losing the weight. The training that I was doing wasn't conducive for building 1 rep max strength. Instead, I took more of an approach to cutting weight instead of trying to build more mass. That leads me to what workouts did I do throughout 75 hard. For the majority of the program, I did CrossFit every single day, and for my other workout, it was either a walk or a jog for 45 minutes, or an aerobic flow type of workout, like a 45-minute as many rounds as possible of say 20 push-ups, 20 squats, and 20 sit-ups. The choice was really dependent on how beat up my body felt during the week and what I had done at the CrossFit gym. The important thing to note about doing CrossFit every single day is that my intensity varied significantly. Now, CrossFit gets this reputation of being an all-in, all-or-nothing mentality. And maybe for some it can be that way, especially if you're just starting out, but I'm going more for longevity. Now, my approach to doing these workouts every single day was staying below lactate threshold the majority of the week, or basically just under that level where you experience that burning sensation where you have to stop, rest, and recover. It's around 85 to 90% of your full output in a given workout. Now, what I mean here by a given workout, your intensity is obviously going to be different for a 5K run in comparison to something like 3 rounds of 20 front squats and 20 burpees. So keeping that strategy allowed me to do as much work as possible within the given time domain, allowed me to be as efficient as possible, all while improving my overall fitness level and not getting too beat up. Now that we've talked a little bit about workouts, let's talk about some obstacles to look out for on the program. Number 1, getting adequate sleep. An interesting thing that I noticed throughout this program is that if you get too little sleep, it can affect your positive momentum in a negative way. What I mean here is if you're not rested, you can get drained, sometimes causing you to lose motivation and can cloud your thought process a little bit. And there were a few days where I wasn't getting enough rest and fulfilling the program requirements felt like climbing a mountain. But I took it as a cue to make sure to get plenty of rest that night so I could rest and recalibrate. The second obstacle to look out for is the feeling of wanting to quit. Now, no matter how much motivation you start out with, the feeling of wanting to quit is bound to come up for most of us, if not everyone. I definitely experienced it, but I want to give you some things to think about when that happens. Here, I want to encourage you a little bit to think about those details that I mentioned previously. Things like, what's your long-term goal? Why are you actually pursuing a greater purpose? And what do you want your legacy to be? And number 3, water intake. Water intake can get really out of hand if you do not focus on it early. When you have to drink about 3/4 of a gallon and it's 7 p.m., you're going to be up for a while and you're going to be taking some trips to the bathroom overnight. So stay on it early so you don't have to stress about it before bed, and it'll give you better sleep. And the last obstacle to look out for in the program is that second workout. Cold weather, too late, too early, you're going to come up with an excuse, but you cannot let it dictate what happens. The main thing here is to show up. Show up, put your headphones on, and get through it. Now that we've talked a little bit about obstacles, let's talk about the tools, tips, and tricks you can use for this program. Everybody wants to know, what supplements did you take? Well, first off, I'm not a huge supplement guy anyway, but the main things that I usually stick to are a quality fish oil and good protein supplement. However, throughout the program, I went with 2 main supplements. I used First Form Formula 1 protein, which is just a whey protein isolate. Tastes amazing and would definitely recommend it. And Microfactor, which is a daily nutrient pack that includes a multivitamin, antioxidants, and probiotics. Shout out to First Form, as that is Andy Frisella's company, the creator of this entire program. Now, of course, these things aren't necessary to complete the program, but it's just something that I wanted to try to maximize the possible benefits. The next tip is to get a quality water bottle. Without question, get a water bottle that you can fill up as few times as possible. I got this Stanley 2-quart or half-gallon thermos, and it was a complete game changer. 2 fill-ups on this bad boy, and I am set for the day. I also like my water on the warmer side, so this thermos keeps it the same temperature all day. So if you like ice cold water, it's a no-brainer. Another tip for the program is to keep your meals pretty much the same throughout the entire program. Personally, I would not recommend having a huge variety of eating in your program. I'm not saying never change what you eat on the program, but if you have a different breakfast every single day, a different lunch every single day, and a different dinner every single day, you're going to get mentally exhausted if you're following a macronutrient plan. Now, if you're following some other type of eating plan, that's different, but many people follow macros on this. And unless you're a very seasoned, no pun intended, on getting meals to fit your macros, this might be very difficult. For me, I pretty much kept my breakfast the same, my lunch the same, as well as my dinners. Most of the time, it was usually oats and protein in the morning, a sandwich at lunch, and something like cauliflower chili, or a modified bowl of doom for dinner. If you've never heard of a bowl of doom, you gotta try that. Now, if you have a lot of time on your hands, feel free to change it up often, as you probably won't feel as much stress from it. But a big thing for me was to maximize my time as efficiently as possible. Another big tip is to choose books you're interested in. If you've never been a big nonfiction reader, stick with what interests you. For me, I read a combination of books in real estate, business, autobiographies, as well as just some general personal development books. And the final tip I have for you is to get an accountability buddy. In the end, this program comes down to you. Your honesty, your accountability, and your desire to be better is all dependent on you. But there's no doubt having someone around, a friend, a family member going through this same storm with you, will make it a lot easier for you to push on during the tough times. Just realize on your long-term journey, You'll be forced to take the path alone at some point. So I encourage you to get a partner if you need it, but prepare for a complete lifestyle change. Now, finally, what is next after 75 Hard? First and foremost, I am a believer in this program. Not only will I continue to implement this program throughout the rest of my life, but this way of life is the way forward for me. I cannot go back to who I was or the habits that I had. It's not that I disliked the person who I was or thought I wasn't enough, but the fact is I wasn't going to get where I wanted to go by taking that approach. I needed to level up, and this program was the catalyst for me. Now I'm set on doing the next step of 75 Hard. The next step is the Live Hard program. It's a year long of 75 Hard with built-in breaks, but with added daily task items like cold showers, sparking up conversations with strangers, and daily visualization. As for things aside from following the program, I built up a lot of momentum here and I want to keep it going. Well, I hope that you enjoyed hearing about my journey through 75 Hard, and I hope that it inspires you to take it head on. If you enjoyed this video, share it with a friend or post it on your social media, and I'll be sure to reach out to thank you. Also, please smash that like button so we can tell the YouTube algorithm, get to work so we can push this content out to more people. And finally, you gotta subscribe if you want to learn more about building a high performance mindset. Thanks for watching.